All right, well, it's 11:03. We have about 80 people connected. More will continue coming in as they usually do in the first few minutes, but I think we can get started. We have a very good conversation with Mona Ataya. For everybody out there, welcome to another Creative Zone webinar. It's a pleasure to see so many of you on this. And again, why not? Because we have such an incredible guest this morning, Mona Ataya, the CEO and founder of Mumzworld. Mona, again, thank you so much for being with us. It's a real pleasure to have this opportunity to chat with you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So maybe, Mona, let's go back. I think it is 7 or 8 years ago when you started with Mumzworld. Take us a little bit about behind the history on how you established this company and how you've taken it today to, I believe, more than 2 million mothers across 7 different countries are using this platform.
Great. So I've been an entrepreneur in the Middle East region now for many years. This is my second technology startup. The first one was with a team of entrepreneurs for Bait.com. So I was the co-founder and the vice president of marketing at Bait.com, which was the first jobs board in the Arab world. While I was at Bait, in 2011, so it was 9 years ago, I wrote a business plan. And this business plan was initially based on my frustration as a consumer and as specifically a mother consumer. As a mother consumer, I realized that there were many need gaps in the region that were not being met for the mothers and for the women in the region. One is access to quality choice of product was limited. Prices in this part of the world were very, very high compared to anywhere else. Information about these products in Arabic was practically non-existent. English information was also very limited. The mother consumer is a very information hungry, risk averse consumer. She's looking for support, community. So a community for mothers to tap into also didn't exist. And last but not least, getting the products that you want when you want them was tough because we are in a very fragmented, proliferated region. So that was kind of the consumer pain points that were identified. On the other side, something magical was happening around the world. We had this trend called e-commerce that was changing everything. It was the biggest trend of the decade. At the time, it was a $1.6 trillion industry growing at CAGR rates that were unlike anything any industry has seen. So it was very obvious that the consumer of today was changing. She wanted immediate gratification. She wanted access to transparency and choice. She wanted convenience, and she wanted value for money. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to take this e-commerce trend on one side and help solve the problems of the Middle East mother consumer on the other side, and build a one-stop platform where mothers can feel empowered that they're making the most informed decisions for their children and giving mothers confidence and control over their motherhood journey. And that's really where the Mumzworld business was planted. We incorporated the company in August of 2011. We launched in beta in October of 2011, so very, very, very fast. And we were the pioneers in the vertical space at the time, and we have been the leaders ever since.
Tell us a little bit about the type of operation that you run there. What are we talking about in terms of numbers, clients? What is the turnover that you have in terms of items that you're selling on your store?
Great. So we are the largest online catalog for all things mother, baby, and child. We have today over 250,000 products on Mumzworld from mother, baby, and child, starting from when a mom is pregnant all the way to the preteens, to 13 years old. And out of these 250,000 products, around 25,000 of them are exclusive to Mumzworld. So we have not only retail rights to these brands, but we also have exclusive distribution rights to these brands. Brands like Haba, for example, which is the #1 European educational range for children. Munchkin, the #1 feeding range, we have exclusive distribution rights. Bugaboo, etc. That's it on the product side. We are constantly launching new products. We have over 22 categories for all things mother, baby, and child. We have served so far 2.5 million mothers. We have a community of mothers under our umbrella of 2.5 million, which is the largest community of mothers under one umbrella. In terms of revenue, we've been doubling and tripling our revenue every single year since we've launched. 45% of our customers today come back and buy again and again and again. So we have a very loyal, very sticky community. The other thing is, while we have an e-commerce site, which is, again, helping mothers buy the best products for their children, we were the first pioneers to launch the community side. Our community is content that mothers are, that they find useful to help them in their motherhood journey. We have over roughly 200 experts on our website that support mothers on everything from parenting to discipline to feeding, etc. So we have expert sessions on our site, on our community site every week. So what we're doing is we're really creating a community where mothers can engage with us, not only transactionally, but also feel that they belong to a community of other mothers who can support and guide them along this very important milestone journey of them.
I really connect with this word that you're using, creating that sense of community. This is even something that is happening to us at Creative Zone. We realized that we needed to create this bond and this ecosystem where we're just helping startups and entrepreneurs through the entire journey. So I think what you're saying there really resonates with our end of the story. What else are you doing to create that bond and that community with the users that use your platform?
Sure. So first of all, if I start at the product side, so we're constantly listening and talking to mothers and seeing what they need. So trends like eco-friendly products, so plastic-free, environmentally friendly, sustainable products, etc. So we launched a couple of years ago a Better Planet section on our website, and this Better Planet section has everything you can imagine for organic, plastic-free, sustainable products, etc. And there's a wide range of products on that catalog that you can't find anywhere else in the region. And this is really based on what mothers told us they need for the future of their children. That's one example. The other one is baby registry. So that's an example of a product where mothers who are pregnant want to create a registry, invite their other mothers, etc. Subscription to diapers is another line extension that we launched a few years ago to allow mothers to subscribe and get their diapers coming into their house at a certain time during a certain period. So again, it allows the convenience, the ease, and the value for money aspect to embrace their experience with Mumzworld. So that's it kind of from a product standpoint. So we're constantly looking for new products, constantly looking for new offerings to provide mothers. Just for perspective, we add 3,000 new products to our catalog every single month. And this is not based on the 3,000 products that have come to us. Rather, this is really a resource limitation. So we hope to accelerate that and to drive more choice for mothers to search, compare, and buy from our platform. Mothers today say when they've shopped on Mumzworld, they've shopped everywhere because we really do have the widest range of products that they can't find anywhere else under one umbrella. So that's one kind of area where we bring mothers together. The other one is our community blog. So this month, actually, we're launching a version 2.0 of our blog, which will allow mothers and experts to engage through dialogue. Right now, what we have is we have experts who come up on our social media platforms once a week and talk about different topics. Discipline, feeding, even depression among mothers, and the experts are talking. What we're going to allow in July is we're going to allow a dialogue. So any mother who has certain concerns can go to our 200 plus experts and ask questions. Again, this creates this back and forth dialogue where mothers really feel empowered with information so that they can make informed decisions. We also host a lot of community events for our mothers, a lot of them, whether they are breakfast mornings or information sessions, etc. What else do we do? So again, so we have the blog, the content, the community, and the experience of the transactions.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Well, I'm looking to through our list of attendees. We have 120 attendees right now. I can see about 70% of them are women, which is a very good thing for this chat. I see names like Mary, Mariam, Najia, Neha. So we also welcome questions from the audience. So we're starting to have a few questions that are coming in. Please encourage everybody that is looking out there at this webinar. If you have any questions for Mona and you would like to put them across, please go for it, because it will be a pleasure to raise those questions. We have a few comments here already. Somebody says, hi Mona, congrats on your success with Mumzworld, hoping to emulate your success on our own startups. More questions. I have one from Danny. It says, when it comes to the e-commerce side, how do you balance too much choice and making it easier for users to buy products? Is this a challenge for e-commerce platforms?
That's a fantastic question, actually. Fantastic question. So I'll start with what the frustration that parents and mothers specifically had before, okay, and what we're solving for. So the biggest frustrations mothers had and have today is that they don't feel that they have the right choice of products to make an informed decision. So you walk into a shop and you are limited by the physical space of that shop and what that particular buyer of that particular shop has chosen to display in his physical space. The reality is, you know, as a parent, you don't just want one or two or three. You really want to see a choice that fits exactly your need, and you want to be able to search easily, quickly, compare easily, quickly, and then buy easily, quickly. And I'll give you an example. So my first children were twin boys. So the first thing I did is I went to the mall that was close to my house, and I went to the biggest retail store in that mall, and I said, show me your twin strollers. And they showed me two. They had one that was side to side, that was very wide, so it doesn't fit in a door, and one that was back to back that was so heavy that I couldn't open and close it. So in fact, I didn't really have choice. Now, when you come on Mumzworld and you say, I want a twin stroller that is lightweight, that is back to back, so fits through doors, that I can open and close with only one hand. And oh, by the way, it's good for the desert of Dubai. I can click, 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 and within seconds, I can get the exact fit stroller that matches what I need as a mother. So the answer to your question is, what we do at Mumzworld is we want to give mothers access to the widest choice, but make the search for what she wants very easy, very seamless, and allow her to feel that she was really empowered to make the decision that's exactly right for her, and not to be pushed in one direction versus the other. Because as a virtual store, our options are limitless. We work in the virtual world, so we can give mothers 1,000 twin strollers, not 2 twin strollers. And so that's, you know, that's why, again, you walk away as a mother feeling, you know, I have confidence that I made the right decision, and I feel like I am in control over the destiny of myself and my children.
That's amazing. More questions are coming in. We have one from Amy. It says, does Mona offer one-on-one coaching? As a small business woman, I'm looking for a mentor. Amy, we have some really good news. And I saw in the list of attendees, we have Nadine Halabi from the Dubai Business Women Council, with whom we have recently partnered. And this is something that eventually we're going to come and talk to Mona about. But we're launching a mentoring program for women entrepreneurs that want to launch themselves into the business world. And we are hoping to get people like Mona and other important entrepreneurs and successful entrepreneurs to come and give their coaching, their feedback, their mentorship. So I'm sure this is something that we'll have to talk to you about in the future, Mona. And I'm sure you're already doing some kind of mentorship with people around you. Is this something that you get involved in?
Sure. So I'm very actively involved in mentorship. I'm a board member of the entrepreneur organization in the UAE, as well as part of Endeavor. And I'm very, you know, engaged in all of their mentorship and business-to-business initiatives. I am very interested specifically in women mentorship. I think, you know, women are, you know, again, they're 50% of the population. Women have tremendous, not only capabilities, but ability to kind of hone in on certain skills that are unique to them. Now, my only limitation really, and a big limitation, is really my time. So I juggle between being a business owner, being a mother, being a wife, and my community events. But always looking for opportunities, time allowing.
I know. I can imagine. This must be the most difficult commodity to deal with, time, in someone like you. We are having so many good questions that are popping up. I like to read a few, Mona, to you. What are the 3 biggest challenges you met at the very beginning of Mumzworld? This is coming from Amina.
So many. Look, the journey of an entrepreneur is a difficult one to start with, because you're dealing with unknowns, you're dealing with creating something that did not exist, you're dealing with a lot of moving parts. So as an entrepreneur, it's very difficult. For us specifically, and again, you know, I'm a 2-time entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for a while now, but I would have to say Mumzworld was a lot more difficult than any other journey I've gone down. And the reason for that is e-commerce. When we started it, the ecosystem was very underdeveloped, was practically nascent. And in order for you to succeed in e-commerce, you need an ecosystem around you that actually supports you. What does that mean? You need couriers that actually deliver products. You need technology talent that is affordable and readily available. You need payment gateways that work so people can pay by credit card. You need products. You know, a lot of the suppliers, in the early days when we went to them and we said, hey, we want to retail your products online, many of them laughed us out the door. Many of them told us, you know, we are crazy. And then you need funding. You need people who actually believe in your mission and your vision and support you with capital. All of that did not exist. So it was really an uphill battle to go and convince suppliers to launch their products, to convince couriers to deliver 10-kilo packages in 2 days as opposed to in 2 weeks. And I would say for us, it's only been really the last year when the e-commerce ecosystem has been shaping up, where things are a little bit easier. We have more payment gateway options. We have more talent. Suppliers understand e-commerce, all that. It's becoming easier, but it was always very difficult in an uphill battle. And therefore for us, there were many times where we thought, you know what, we are stuck. How do we go forward? And I'll give you one example, if I may. In the early days, we used to hire warehouse space with a 3PL, and they used to do our picking and packing. So orders would come in and we would give it to our 3PL and they would pick and pack and deliver the order, okay? Because we didn't have the capital to do it ourselves. And unfortunately, every other order was wrong. So we would tell them to pick and pack the blue shoe, they would pick and pack the green shoe. We would tell them to deliver this to Fatima, they would deliver it to Khadija. So it was a disaster. And there was a time when we thought, oh my goodness, you know, we don't have the capital to do it ourselves, yet we're relying on a 3PL who's messing everything up. So the customer is compromised. What do we do? And, you know, we figured it out. And this has kind of been the journey all along. So it's always about being creative, being resourceful, having the grit and the resilience to figure it out and going to the next day. And, you know, 9 years later, we're still running and growing and stronger than ever, because we kind of maneuvered through the maze.
Amazing. Now, what is the way forward for you and Mumzworld, Mona? What is your strategy for growth? And I'm bringing this up because there's a very good question here from Busra Al-Hosni. He says, is there any way you would think of franchising your brand in Turkey, in Istanbul? Is franchising an option for you? How are you looking to grow outside of the region?
Sure. So we are today leaders in the GCC markets. So UAE, Saudi, Bahrain, Oman, Kuwait are all very big markets for us. Saudi being our biggest market today. We have shipped today to 20 countries. We are always talking to potential partners to set up base in these respective countries. So for example, we already set up base in Saudi, we have base in the UAE, we have warehousing in Riyadh, we have warehousing in DIP. We're always looking for partners on the ground in the different markets to help us scale faster. So that is always an opportunity. So if there's anyone here who wants to reach out to me, who has on the ground presence or would like to set up on the ground presence, I'm always here to talk to them. We are a MENA play, so our goal, our vision is to expand across all of MENA, which includes North Africa, the Levant markets, and the periphery markets. So Turkey is certainly something that is very interesting for us over time after we crack the MENA. So scale is something that is on our pipeline, and we are scaling as we speak. The other part of this is, obviously, whenever there's a strong business, you're going to find a competitive ecosystem. We continue to be significantly larger, both in terms of customers, catalog, and capabilities than the next player. But we will continue to widen that gap by offering more exclusive products. Again, we are signing up every single day exclusive deals with regional, global bestsellers. We will continue to grow our community section so that we really, at the end of the day, we're here to empower moms to be the best version of themselves. That's our vision. How do we make a mother feel more confident and in control over her mothering journey so that she can really focus on raising the best new generation? Again, we always say when you empower a mother with resources, tools, and information, you empower a child. When you empower a child, that's how we change the world. We are driven by impact, by ecosystem impact. We're not here just to make money. That's not what drives us. We're a business that is building value. And when you build value and you make an impact that's positive, that's when you generate revenue. You don't generate revenue and then build impact. You build impact and then you build revenue.
Exactly. On that point, do you have any programs that sort of promotes the consumption of or the use where you involve suppliers that are mom-run projects?
100%. We work today with over 4,600 suppliers. They are manufacturers, distributors, retailers, wholesalers. They range from a mom and pop shop to a large conglomerate. We love to talk to mothers who have created products, who have an idea that they want to develop. We do that all the time. So we have a large portfolio of our products that are actually developed by moms. So absolutely, that's something that we're very passionate about.
That's excellent. Well, Mona, we have on our list of attendees a lot of our own clients at Creative Zone, a lot of startups and entrepreneurs. When building your e-commerce platform or for having a successful e-commerce platform nowadays, what would you say are the three most important ingredients? I understand that people battle with issues to do with pricing, competition, logistics, and then finally advertising. How do we put our brand out there so that people consume? What would you say are the 3 or 4 key things that someone needs to consider?
Okay. So the first and most important thing is capital. E-commerce is a capital-intensive business. It really is. And I remember back 9 years ago when people would say, "Oh, you pay $5,000, you put a website out there into the virtual world, and you sell." That doesn't happen. Building an e-commerce business is a lot more difficult than building a retail business. It's a lot more difficult because building a retail business, and I always say this analogy, when you have a shop in a mall, customers come into your shop, and the minute they enter your shop, the customer almost becomes your employee because the customer goes to the shelf, they pick up their product, they read the label, they put it in their basket, they go to the checkout, they pay you, and then they leave. It's gone. All you need in the shop is you need your merchandiser, the person behind the cash register. That's really the basic. But in an e-commerce, you need technology that's seamless, that's expensive. You need marketing that's very, very expensive. Digital marketing is more expensive than offline marketing. It's a reality. So when you put your website on the cloud, it disappears unless you have very specific marketing tactics to drive it. Then you have warehousing. You need the capex of warehousing. You need pickers, you need packers, you need customer care, you need data entry, you need technology, all of that. So you need 26 enablers on average for every order. So the first thing you need is capital to support you. That's the first. Now, the other thing that's happening globally, and this is why we encourage a lot of retailers who want to come online, don't do it alone. To piggyback on a marketplace like Mumzworld, because we are a vertical specialized in mother, baby, and child, we work with a lot of retailers who want to tap into our 2.5 million mothers, but don't want to spend the capex to do that. Because we are the experts, what we do is we create a shop for them within Mumzworld. We market their products, we sell their products, we deliver their products, and then we pay them for their products. So for them, it's an easy, fast, profitable way to get online without burning a lot of cash. But again, assuming you want to do it alone, it's a lot of capital. The other thing you need is technology. E-commerce at the end of the day is technology. We are not a retailer, we are a technology business. So, you know, our app, for example, our mobile, our desktop operates in certain ways to make it seamless for the customer. And then the third thing is you need to kind of own the supply chain. You need very good relationships with the supply chain. So that's the kind of the third key ingredient.
Is the security a big concern for an operation like yours in terms of payments and security of data usage and so on?
100%. It's the number one priority. And it's a number one priority. We spend a lot of time. We have teams just on that, and it's expensive. So to protect your site, you have to invest 100%. And especially now, as everybody's going digital, and the bigger you are, the more you have to protect your security and the customer's security.
I will read a few more questions coming from the audience. There's one more. It says, "Hi, Mona. Is there any plans to enter the Egyptian market?"
Yes. Egypt market is top of our list. Yes.
Good. Trying to go through some other questions. Let me go through my own question. Let's see. Here's another topic that I wanted to raise with you, Mona. You are a very iconic, successful woman entrepreneur. As you have described your career, you started with Babe.com and then you continue with your own projects. How do you see the role that women are playing in the business community nowadays? What is it being done to empower more women to go into business?
So women are 50% of the population. Women have a tremendous amount to contribute. The world of digital is allowing, I think, more women to enter because of the flexibility of it. So the mother who's sitting at home, who has to take care of her children, and now with the world of digital, she has that capability to kind of balance being at home and being in the office. And again, I'm a mother, so there are times when I'm not going to be able to be in the office, or there are times when I have to drop off my children at school or go watch a rugby game. So the world of digital has now allowed and almost given permission to women to juggle remotely. So that's the good news. The other good news is obviously there's this element of confidence and courage. So when you see success with other peers, you say, well, if she could do it, then I can do it. And that's a good thing. So, you know, some women perhaps just need that push by looking at other women who have done it, who have succeeded. And so they can kind of replicate or learn from them. And then again, you know, from Mumzworld's perspective, our head of technology is a woman. Our head of Saudi is a woman. Our head of our catalog is a woman. Our head of business development is a woman. Not because we went out and looked for women specifically, but because we found incredibly talented A-player women. And by the way, they're all mothers. So they all juggle remotely in the office, etc. And they are all A players.
Excellent. Another good question from the audience. Hi, Mona. How do you manage your day-to-day operation? I was actually curious myself when preparing for this meeting, and I thought, I wonder how she is from a leader point of view. Are you more on the day-to-day operation, making sure that everything is running smoothly? Do you take maybe a higher position and manage the people that are in control of things? What's your leadership style when it comes to this?
So look, that answer varies depending on what year, what age, and what, kind of what situation. So if you asked me what your leadership style is during the time of COVID, I was in there with customer care, making phone calls. I was, with the warehouse team, putting the safety measures. So very, very, very hands-on, very active, roll up the sleeves and being involved. My philosophy generally, Lorenzo, is very simple. And that is, as a leader, my expectations of others are exactly the same as my expectations of myself. When we launched this business of Mumzworld with a very important mission, and that is to give mothers confidence and control to be the best version of themselves. That's an important mission. And it's a big commitment. And so we have to stick to what we promise. And so for me as Mona, I am very particular about delivering on promises, on doing something that is useful, that is ecosystem impact. And I work a lot. I work a lot because I've made that promise. So I have a commitment to my employees to make sure that they have stable, secure jobs. I have a commitment to my shareholders to make sure that they get their money, their value for money. I have a commitment to the customers to make sure that when they buy from us, that they get what they were promised, etc. And for that, there are very, very, very high expectations. We hire A players who work smart, who work hard, and who work creatively, and who are always, always outside their comfort zone. Not everybody survives in that environment. And that's the reality. So some people don't want that. Some people want a 9-to-5 job where they're given a certain task and they do it. And that's great. But unfortunately, in our world of kind of ecosystem disruption, we are moving at 1,000 miles an hour. So the long and short answer is my style of working as Mona is X. And the expectation of all the A players within the organization is to also work with high quality, high speed, challenging the status quo and delivering with excellence 24/7. And the last thing I would add is, as a leader, I always joke that if you see me, then you know that you're probably not performing. So I kind of let all the leaders run. I don't want to see the leaders, whether they are all the way from the top to the bottom of the organizations. The less I see them, the better. And if they see a lot of me, that is not good news. So very hands off unless it is required.
I'm going to use that from now on. If you don't see me, it's because you're doing really well. I like that. Mona, did you see an upswing on your operations since COVID-19? And it's a bit of a combined question I want to ask you. Have you seen that upswing? And what's going to happen going forward? Are you optimistic about the future ahead for the country? We've seen a bit of a downturn. Do you feel that the economic activity is going to rebound back to what we are used to be?
Sure. So I'll start by saying I'm always an optimist. Whatever goes up has to come down. Whatever goes down has to come up. We see cycles. There's always going to be cycles. We are now in a pandemic situation. We are in a first ever in our lifetime and in our children's lifetime. This is not an easy time, certainly. We are very blessed and fortunate that we are in an industry with e-commerce that is, alhamdulillah, this is where opportunity lies, and we're fortunate for that. But we can make use of that opportunity, or we can use it badly. So it depends on how we leverage that opportunity. But some people will be not as good off. The good news is this is a time of opportunity. I really, really fundamentally believe it. This is a time of entrepreneurial disruption because things are changing. And at the time of change and at the time of missing need gaps and pain points, that's when entrepreneurs come out. Entrepreneurs see who is suffering from what and how can I solve it. So huge time for opportunity. That's the first thing I say. So I'm an optimist, and I think that we will see a turnaround that's going to open up the doors to a new world. and it's going to happen sooner rather than later. And the challenge is, are you going to be the one who is going to drive that change into the new world? I say it, I have 3 teenage boys, and I tell my boys who sit down, I say, listen, this is your opportunity to create something new now.
Yeah.
So that's that. E-commerce is, you know, before we went into COVID, e-commerce was estimated to be about 4% of retail. With COVID, there was a time, about a month, where it became almost 100% of retail because people were locked down. They couldn't go out of their house. So everything came online. So huge, huge, huge spike. We have not gone down to 4%, and we likely will never go back down to 4%. So e-commerce is the future because customers have transparency, they have choice, they have convenience, and they have best value for money. So e-commerce is here to stay, m-commerce is here to stay, and as long as we execute well and uniquely, then it's a very positive outlook.
I think you really touched on a perfect niche of going after women in this sense. I have a package arriving in my home every day, basically, from what my wife is ordering online. It's really become such a trend nowadays. Everybody's shopping so much online. I'm reaching my end of my questionnaire, Mona. Last few questions would be, do you have an exit strategy for Mumzworld? Is this something that is an objective of yours?
Sure. So look, Mumzworld is always talking to potential exits, and the way we look at exits is very simple. So the world is consolidating. So you have a lot of the brick and mortars that are struggling, not only regionally but globally, because they, you know, and these are the giants. So you find graveyards of the giants that, you know, we grew up with now no longer exist, because when they tried to enter online, they realized, wait a minute, the DNA of online business and the DNA of offline business is a world apart. It doesn't work the same way. The supply chain is different. The way you reach a customer is different. And they're realizing that now. So it's not only about how strong you are as a brick and mortar player and how much capital you have. It's, do you understand how to build an online business? And a lot of the brick and mortars recognize that they don't. So we're seeing consolidation happening globally. So this is something that is starting to happen in the region. And I think the big giants that are going to come out, or the winners that are going to come out, are the brick and mortar giants who realize that, okay, this is my strength, which is brick and mortar. Whose strength is in online? Can we talk together and see how we can complement in a symbiotic relationship? So you're going to find a lot of M&A opportunities coming up. We're always in conversations with these type of opportunities. And you know, when the right one comes to play, we will have serious discussions with that. So that's one. IPO is also something that is, we are now a private company. You know, going down the public route is also something that's always on the table. So exit opportunities are always there, insofar that you build a business that is scalable, sustainable, and profitable, that is creating a true customer value. Exit becomes secondary, becomes easier. So our focus is building value, and the rest is secondary.
Would you be working on other parallel projects at this time in your life?
So I'm always working on parallel projects. I'm always looking for opportunities to solve problems. This is part of who I am as a human being. I'm very aware and alert to challenges that people are facing. I consider myself to be to like to kind of fit pieces of the puzzle and solve problems. So yes.
Excellent. Right, so maybe the final question, Mona. We have 120 attendees connected. As I said, many of them startups, entrepreneurs. What would be your advice for people that are getting started nowadays in the e-commerce? What is it that they need to be watching out for?
So starting up in e-commerce, as I mentioned earlier, make sure that you have a viable value proposition. You're solving a customer need. Don't just see something that's in the market and go and copy it. So we find these kind of copycatters. They don't last long. They burn a lot of cash. They copy the leader. There's no place for copycatters in this world of disruption. So the first thing I would say is, what problem are you trying to solve for? And can you do this better, faster, and more unique than anybody else? That's the first question. If you've answered yes, then put a business plan together that says, okay, what's the market ecosystem look like, and how am I going to fit within that ecosystem, and what are the different resources that I need to make this work? So a business plan is very, very important. You know, we wrote our business plan 9 years ago. Our vision has not changed. Our mission has not changed. Even our kind of key objectives have not changed. Our execution has been iterated as is expected, but everything else is fundamental. So make sure that you have a business plan that is rock solid. And then last but not least, make sure that you have A players around you, people who are smarter than you, better than you, and as ambitious as you on your right and on your left to support you in this journey. Doing things alone as an entrepreneur is never easy, and I would not recommend it.
That's excellent. Mona, thank you so much for this. Just as a final thing, I want to say that we have recently launched a special promotion and a special package for women entrepreneurs that we are giving a special pricing, a special discount, because we want to help and empower women entrepreneurs. And in this case, maybe we would like to work with you, Mona, and see how we can create awareness about the support that we're doing together with the Dubai Business Women Council. Maybe there is something that we can do for mom entrepreneurs, a special deal that we can put through your platform and to your clientele. We'll be happy to cooperate with you. And as we said, on mentorship programs, things that we can do, because women do represent a very important portion of the clients that we have at Creative Zone and the people that we help to set up. But once again, Mona, thank you so much. We would like to continue this conversation with you. To the attendees, thank you so much for connecting. We will be in touch with you. We will send you a copy of this webinar on email, and we will also share some details of Mona. Mona will be getting in touch with you as well. Mona, again, thank you so much for connecting.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. Lovely chatting to you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. All the best. Thank you for connecting.